How late were the selection decisions made for this match?
We knew 2 days before, actually.
Full team, did you?
Yeah, we're really clear. Actually, no, that's not right. We knew 10 of them. We made a decision between Starkey and Peter Siddle quite late, actually, on the morning of the game. So
on the morning of the game, yeah. What was that coming down
to? We were going to have a last look at the wicket on the morning. And when we got here, it was a pretty strong gut feeling for some reason. The way Sid's played in the practice game and the way he's been bowling and the style of cricket, we think we need to beat England. It was a line ball decision, but I thought, and it's easy to say in hindsight, but I thought Peter Siddle was almost the bowler of the game. To be honest, he was brilliant. That was the best nunfer I've ever seen today.
Well, what people in their right mind leave? This is what people are saying. What people in their right mind would leave Hoff and Starkey out of an Australian?
Yeah,
what a huge ball.
What a brilliant problem to have. It is an amazing problem that we probably haven't had for a long time. That we've got. Well, I looked at Hoff's record again this morning, just when I was back at the hotel. He's played 40 odd Test matches, incredible. And then I saw Starkey's come up during the game again, and like I say, what a problem to have those two guys sitting on the thing. And if it had gone the other way, and Sid's has got over 200 Test wickets, and he's bowling as well as ever, he's jumping out of his skin. We talked about it in the press conference before the game. He adds so much to it. So it's nice to have that competition, that's for sure.
And who gets time off from Worcester?
Davey, Stephen, Lyon and Paddy Cummins. So the four guys who basically did most of the world, or did all the World Cup. So they're going to have a bit of, and it's just trying to give them some recharge a bit, not only after the World Cup, and then for what's coming up in this series, but then what's coming up beyond there. Every time, every little bit of opportunity coming to give those guys a break is going to be important.
You too?
Yes. I'll have a couple of days off too, so I'm looking forward to that.
Does that become a sort of even tougher question now? Just like you said before, that these guys understand that they'll be coming in and out of the team depending on conditions, but after performance like that, does it almost become more difficult to leave someone out?
Yeah, maybe. And the other thing is that they didn't bowl that many overs in the second innings. We thought after the first innings we were really nervous because I think Paddo bowled 27 overs in the 27 overs in the first innings, and then or around that, and that's a lot of overs. We thought if it blows out to a 50-over game for all of our guys, that starts putting some pressure on their body with the spikes they're going to get. But they didn't bowl that many overs in the second innings, which it's going to give us a really good headache come the next Test match. But we've also said all through the World Cup and for this series, said from day one, and we'll maintain it. We'll pick the team that we'll have a look at the wicket at Lords with a bit of their slope, and there might be a bit more grass on it, might be a bit of extra bounce. That we'll pick the team that we think will win that Test match. So that's the way we'll keep going.
You did make 6 changes from the last team to this game, and beyond the talk about the bowlers as well. Obviously, you introduced David and Steve, and maybe wait to see who's coming back up. But do you feel it's a bit of sense of indication that the team, because 6 changes from one Test to another is a big one to make going into a big Test match. Do you feel sort of a sense of indication that you've got the team right?
Oh, we won. We were 8 for 120, and then win the Test match like we did. Yeah, that shows incredible character, incredible fighting spirit. And whilst we could have picked any of the 17, look at the guys we picked, and you go, yeah, they're all fighters. Matthew Wade's a fighter, and he's done exactly what we said he's got to do for like it used to be, and we want to keep building. You've got to knock so hard we can't not pick you. He's got 300s in the last 5 innings or 6 innings. He had a massive Sheffield Shield season. He had a great BBO. He's the captain of his state, and he's got so much to play for. So he's won selection. The 3 boys coming back, there were other selections. Peter Siddle, what he brings to the team and what he showed this game, brilliant. So yeah, it's nice to get the result.
You play with some pretty good batsmen and seen some good batsmen, but there was one out there, wasn't there? Where does he sit?
Well, I said during the summer I thought Virat Kohli is the best player I've ever seen, but that's just another level. But when you're going through these periods, like I remember being a young player on the fringe for a long time, watching Steve Waugh on all the tours, he was a run machine. Right? I wanted to be like Steve Waugh, and then I played with punter. I want to be Ricky Ponting because he's a run machine. I played with Alan Border. I think my third test he made his 10,000th test run. I'm going, I want to be Alan Border. So you have in different teams, different eras, great players. But for someone like Smudge, who's averaging over 60, and the way he played at this innings with all the pressure and everything that was on him, that's not only great skill, but enormous character, enormous courage, very brave, unbelievable concentration, unbelievable physical stamina, unbelievable mental stamina, all traits of great players.
England didn't seem to have an answer to him either. I mean, how encouraging was that to see from the first match of the series? They just basically had virtually no answer to everything they threw at him.
Well, it's like, this is, I'll just say it as I see it, but sometimes you throw to him in the nets and you literally feel like you can't get him out, and there's no batsman like that. You just end up throwing a million balls and you're just lost for answers. So, and I guess, he played that well. You'd have to ask England how they felt about that, but geez, he played well. And they had some interesting tactics for him. They had the really short point, which I'd never seen before, so they'd obviously had a tactic in mind. They were prepared, and they Trevor Bayliss has seen a lot of Steve Smith since he's a kid. They obviously would have studied him closely, so they had some plans. But he just has a knack of, he's the best problem solver in the game, I think.
So much, made about them coming up with plans. What about the work that Steve does in terms of planning? This is how Broad will try to get me out.
Yeah, well, again, it's all about problem solving. He's the best problem solver in the game. He works it out.
Justin, can you contrast, I suppose, how he's seen now, the sorts of questions we're asking you, and what I suppose your first impressions were of him when he came into the squad in 2009, you were assistant coach?
I got a good story, but I'll leave it for my book, I think. But let's face it. Everyone, when he first came in, leg spinner, unorthodox, mate, not sure this kid's going to make it. Then goes away. I don't want to be a leg spinner. I want to be the best batsman in the world. Then he transforms himself, and he is the best batsman in the world, probably with Virat. So it's a great credit to him.
So about Nathan Lyon, he's almost very soon he'll be the third highest wicket taker Australia ever had. But just to come to a country like England and win a test match on the final day, what does it mean? How did you see him go today?
Again, I didn't realise, like a few of our players, I didn't realise, like Steve Smith, I didn't realise how good Nathan Lyon was until I took over coaching the cricket team, because you see him on telly and Nathan Lyon off-spin bowling, but the last 12 months or so, I just can't believe how good a bowler he is. He's a brilliant bowler. He's such good control. He spins, he gets some bounce. Great fielder, really good in the team. He's a song master, so that tells you something about his character. He's a gun bowler. 350 wickets, that's an incredible achievement, isn't it?
So how do you, not that many places he can get in this side, 2017 won the first test of India, lost the series, 2018 won the first test of Africa, lost the series, UAE, draw, lost, win this one here. How do you make sure that trend doesn't continue?
Well, one, we're aware of those, so the boys have already talked about it a bit. Two, we talk about, our values. You guys think you probably start yawning when I say it, but I say it very seriously. Humility is one thing, very important. Professionalism, our mateship. You see plenty of mateship in the change room right now, which is half the reason we play the game. Keep being honest about where we're at. We still only won one test match, so. And we've also, we've got a captain who is that focused in there, and he's the best wicketkeeper in the world. You've just seen it. You've seen those catches today. He is the best wicketkeeper in the world. I thought the way he batted in the first innings, he freed up. He's worked really hard in that. The last leading up to this Test match, he's a brilliant leader. He's a great bloke, but I thought tactically he was superb, and he is so focused on this series. So there's no way he's going to let it slip. And I guarantee you, I'm not going to let it slip either.
Justin, just one more on Josh and Mitch Stark. How much of, I suppose, your match-to-match judgments of the best balance of the attack is, I suppose, the different types of spells that guys are going to be able to bowl, whether you're in an attacking or defensive sort of position where you want to control the scoreboard as opposed to go for wicket?
Yeah, well, we've got a pretty clear view on how we think we can beat England in this series. I go back to 2004 India, when we finally beat India in India. We had a very, very clear, and Adam Gilchrist drove that. Remember, he was the captain at the time. Punter was injured, so he drove that. And we've got a really clear plan for how we think we can beat England, and we'll stick to that.
Just on Steve, giving him a break, have you told him, or is he under any instructions to not hit a ball for 3 days? Because it seems that
No, he's under no instruction. He can hit as many balls as he wants.
And do you think he
I don't think he will, no, because he won't have anyone to throw him to him.
He's got his wife.
Unless Danny wants to put something in the bowling machine for him.
She's done it before.
But yeah, she has done it before, yeah. So, but I think,
Do you want him to have a break though, given everything that built up to this game and how many balls he faced and everything involved in this?
Yeah. He can literally do. He can prepare however he wants to prepare, because we can have a theory on different players, but again he's just showing once again he hits more balls. I said to Mark Ramprakash the other day, who used to hit more balls than anyone I've ever seen live, Steve Smith hits double of what Mark Ramprakash used to hit. And it's the same with all the great players. So literally he can prepare however he wants to prepare, and we'll keep encouraging that. But he was going to be that tired after this game. So physically and mentally, so I'm sure he'll welcome the few days off.
Just about Cameron Bancroft, just coming back to Test cricket. As an opener in England, because he's had issues with getting caught behind in the past in his first outside as Test cricketer. When you get out like that in the first inning, does that play on your mind? Would you take him aside and just say something, or just let him be?
Oh, you manage different players differently. One thing he did do, he took a couple of brilliant catches at bat pad, which is a big part of the role he's going to play for us. But he's been playing really well, and yeah, he's not the first bloke with a new ball on day one who can nick one. A lot of blokes do that, so he's a sort of person who, like Steve Smith, he'll work it out. He'll keep working it out. He'll work hard at it, and hopefully we'll get plenty of runs from him in the series.
What do you, I don't know, you have your phone off, obviously, but what do you...
I won't have my phone off. That's impossible.
Okay. What does the group want to get out of the Worcester game? If there's spots up for grabs, is there...
Yeah, there's work to be done. I mean, what we have to keep respecting is it's a five test series. We're here to win the Ashes. We are here to win the Ashes, not to win the first test at Edgbaston. We're here to, so therefore, we've got a lot of work to do. So the guys who do come, I said it through the World Cup, they stay ready. You never know when the opportunity could come up. You never know how the balance of the team might work. So every time they get a chance to play, it's good for them to get some confidence in the game, but it's also good for them to push their case, whatever their role in the team is, to push their case for selection.
Do you feel like you've got the team to win in all conditions now?
Well, I think we've got the squad to win in all conditions. That's what I think. We've got a couple of all-rounders who didn't play this game. We've got two world-class bowlers sitting on the bench. I think we've got the squad. The team. It was a great win against the odds here, with all the history of Edgbaston, with 8 for 120, with all that. So we've got the squad, I think, yeah.
No matter what pitch is produced in Lords.
100%. Well, if we play on this one here, I think we most definitely have whatever conditions we play in. I think we'll have people to cover those.